Okay, this session is going to be just a couple behaviors of stuff. I'm not going to say my videos are going to get boring because I don't necessarily find them boring. It's just they're going to be repetitions of behaviors to reinforce the behaviors and get better at them. So it's kind of going to be, quote, the same stuff a lot. So just as a warning, I suppose. So this is going to be a lot of targeting. I like the targeting because it's an easy concept. I think once they get it, I think she understands it. You can kind of use targeting in multiple ways. You can have them target something. You can use it to ask certain things. Like you can see I had her target first and now we're backing up. So it's just also like, almost like a pressure thing. And that's the other thing is I want to use like my hand to kind of guide her and like things that I want. I'm also using it to indicate lifting the feet. This is kind of taking a break from the rope that I was using before, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's just, I think I felt like it was a little more, I guess forceful is the word I want to use, where I'm like holding the rope. It's also, as you could kind of tell in my other video, it was really awkward because I kept losing the rope because I wasn't tying it. I was just holding it. And then when she'd like, move her foot too much, I'd lose the rope. So the idea was that I could build duration with the feet, with the targeting cue. I know I do go to rope after this. I can't remember if I continue. I think I continue to use the target, but I also go for the rope. So I kind of switch between the two, which I don't know is good or bad. I don't know if that's confusing. It doesn't seem confusing because we get it, but at the same time, I don't know. Once again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a trainer. Please seek professional help for Mustang training. But I think it's a good break, and I think gets this concept of touching can indicate I want you to do something. Like if we're thinking about this long-term leg pressure, to move into the outside or to move into the rail or to move out of the rail. It's like you want leg pressure, right? Leg pressure means something. So me using a target to say, hey, when I touch you, I want you to do something is kind of one of the earlier skills to build up to leg pressure or anything like that. So foundational skills, I guess you could say, is really what we're going for here. And it's also just another way to communicate. See, she's holding her leg up more, like the duration is building. I'm kind of really bummed I don't feel like I kept doing this. And she's obviously like really getting it. So I think it, again, is my impatience coming to be, and especially my anxiety about the feet and how much I need the feet to work. Okay. So I don't think she's kicking maliciously. I think she's confused because I didn't transition the task well. I was touching her, lifting her leg, and now she's like, what the heck? What do you want? So the idea here is, again, a little bit of, I want you to move when I touch you. A lot of it is like to move out of my space. When I touch your shoulder, you shift away, especially like in the cross ties or something. And then obviously I got a little frustrated, I think, so stepped away. And then she did not want to engage anymore. And I'm glad that I kind of said, okay, and stepped away. Took a break. I gave her a jackpot of, stuff to where it's not like leaving her hanging, but I took a break. I'm soaking her hay. So one batch of hay that I got ended up being pretty dusty, and I didn't like that. So I ended up soaking her hay for a while. I don't think she had a preference. I really don't, but I was just very nervous about it, which is I think it's just me mother henning and just being I don't have a lot of control in some regard to her because she's still not completely feral, but not completely domestic. So there's certain aspects that I can control when it comes to her and her care. And then there's certain things that I control but do bad. Look at that belly. Look at that belly. This is like early April. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it's like the first week of April. God, her belly is so big. And then just chore time. Because again, it's one of those things, some days I'll take a break and do it, and sometimes I'll do it beforehand. Just kind of depends on what's going on. Okay, so break over. We're going to work on some reinforcing haltering. It's just something that I remind myself to do, because when she does it one time, I'm like, oh, we're good. And then I move on, and that's not the case. We need some reinforcement of it because we're just not completely sure sometimes, and that's okay. So that's what this is about. She's a little in my space, I'll tell you that, looking at this. But it's kind of like, I feel like it's a little awkward sometimes because I have a bad habit with targeting and haltering of like having the piece still in front of me. I know you are supposed to like, quote, remove it. So like a target you would put behind your back or something like that when you don't want them to target, and then you present it. And I struggle with that a little bit, where I don't remove it from their space. So I think that's where it gets like, quote, pushy. But I'm not sure because I'm not a professional. So look up your own professionals. Yeah, see, we needed to reinforce this because we're not quite where self-haltering and stuff like that. We can obviously do it. I've haltered her multiple times, but I want more. I don't want to use the word cooperation because I feel like cooperation means that she's still, I don't know, that I'm like forcing her, which I'm forcing her into domestic life to some regard, but I want a little bit more, not excitement, just involvement from her and haltering. I do a little bit better about removing it from her space when I need to, but then I don't. She's so roan. Her butt gets really big later too. She's such a little like stock horse. Little stock pony. Oh yeah, and then so my sister's bathing her baby. Just sponge bath. Because we, as you can see from the tank top that I'm wearing, we had a hot flash in early April here. So it was kind of like, oh, I should introduce that because her face is disgusting. She still smells like a petting zoo. So she does okay. I don't think it's necessarily like weird because like grooming, it's very similar. But I think the sensation of a wet thing is kind of weird. There's a little bit more of like moving away than I think I like when I watch this. I would like a little bit more her coming to me and not me driving her away. The bucket is confusing to her because it's full of water and not grain, and that's weird. See, like she steps away and I'm not respecting that. She's telling me she's a little bit uncomfortable and I'm not respecting that. So then when she gets wiggly, I don't get frustrated, but I get impatient, and then she gets impatient, right? So again, it's just, I should be listening to her and I'm not. But anyway, another session down, another big step. We can do this, right?